It is a time of significant change at Saskatoon's Persephone Theatre, including the hiring of a brand new artistic director to help lead the organization into the future. So happy today to be joined by that artistic director, Heather Cant. Heather, thank you for taking a few minutes to chat with me today. Before we get into what this role will look like, what your vision is for the future of the organization, just in general terms, this has to be a great thrill for you to be moving into this job. You're a native of Saskatchewan and obviously a huge theater background. This has to be pretty exciting for you.
It is. It's very exciting. Yesterday's announcement was really overwhelming. I think I had to charge my phone 4 times in order to make it through all the phone calls and text messages and social media interactions. So I'm thrilled that the response has been so enthusiastic and positive. I'm really excited to be coming to Saskatchewan on a full-time basis. And my family is doubly excited that I'll just be around more.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got those Saskatchewan roots, got some family here in Saskatchewan. Your resume is quite lengthy, so I'm not going to ask you to read the entire thing. But if you don't mind, just give us a little bit of information on your background, because I know you have both extensive background in theater, obviously, but also leadership roles, these types of things that'll be very, very handy as you take on this new role.
Yeah, for sure. I started my career as an actor a very long time ago now, but had evolved into lots of other positions in the industry, and I think that's really benefited me as I've grown into leadership roles, because I have a lot of empathy and experience in how those other roles function, performers and directors and playwrights and design, and that's really helpful from a leadership perspective, to be able to understand the people that you're working with in a really in a much more intimate way. So I've been in the theater world my whole professional life. That's for sure. Other than the typical theater person who also has another job in order to continue to move your career forward. I've always done theater. That's always been my professional vocation, and so it's really exciting for me to be able to take on a leadership role that has such a big profile like Persephone Theatre does, and really advance my own career and aspirations for myself, but also, really have an opportunity to put into practice some of the evolution of our industry that I think is right at the forefront and ready, that I've been really longing to do.
And I think when we talk about that evolution, it's a bit of a reflection of what's happening in society in general. As I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the decision to move in a different direction and bring in a new artistic director came out of a desire to become a bit more of an inclusive place, a bit more reflective of society in general. Can you talk a little bit about that, with the importance of that, and what your plans are to try and move Persephone in that direction?
Obviously I don't live in Saskatoon yet. So I'm certainly, perceiving things from the outside and not from, an inside and relational practice. But my understanding is that, last summer there were, when, our current social justice revolution started, that there were some expressions from the community that people were dissatisfied with the relationship that Persephone had built with those members of the community. And I think those frustrations have led to the board and the staff really re-examining how the organization functions and what their role is in the community. And that's where I think that I am a really great fit for the organization. I've just finished my master's degree, which was really focused on that work, which, in a weird twist of fate, really coincided with everything that began to unfold last summer. I was already in my thesis writing process on these kind of very topics. So that's been a lot of my focus and research for the last couple of years. And, I think that a theater's responsibility is to be socially responsible and and a real relationship with their community, particularly when um, that theater is what we call in the industry a regional theater, which means that they have to do a lot of things to serve a really diverse population and large population, because people who come to Persephone, those audiences are coming from not just Saskatoon, but the surrounding areas. Like, you really have to kind of be all things to all people, which is really hard. It's really hard. And having worked at a regional before, it's a big responsibility. And that's something that is certainly going to be my focus coming in, is really spending some time getting to know the community and its priorities and its needs, and the local artist population as well, so that I, am not beginning from a place of assumption, but from one of real understanding of what those needs are, and then trying with Persephone to try and support that, to try and support the manifestation of that reality. But for me, it begins first with those relationships.
That's fantastic. And I think that's certainly welcome news for residents of Saskatoon and patrons of the theater. But the other thing they're probably also wondering about is, okay, what are we going to see in terms of productions? What's coming down the road? Obviously, the other big societal thing we're currently dealing with is this pesky pandemic, which has certainly affected the forthcoming season and may linger into the future. What can you tell us in terms of productions that are coming down the road, either in the near or far future?
The good news that I can tell you, I didn't have anything to do with it. The amazing people at Persephone have already been organizing a season to unfold. Of course, it's all dependent on how things develop with the pandemic. Assuming things, decline, then great, we're on. And if they don't, then, we'll have to reevaluate. But they've chosen some really excellent plays that are totally the kind of plays that I would have chosen too. So I'm really excited about that. The first one is due to start at the end of October. So it's a truncated season. It won't be, the full lavish affair that audiences are accustomed to, and that definitely has to do with COVID response and being able to ensure that we can welcome audiences in a really, safe way that is ethically and morally responsible for being responsible for all those people. But I believe there's 4 shows planned, and starting in October, and then unfolding as health mandates allow.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hopefully things will get back to some sense of normalcy in theater and all sectors of society. Can't wait to get back to Persephone Theater, and can't wait to see what the future holds for the theater under your leadership.
Thank you so much. I am looking so forward to being there and meeting everyone.